So we are actually in Atlanta. So we landed in Fort Lauderdale, picked up the car, bought it, as you guys already know from the title. And I wanted to do things a little bit different this time. You guys have seen me go pick up cars from Florida and wherever, Texas and stuff, multiple times, and it's always the driving scenes, blah, blah, blah. Well, this time I kind of just wanted to change things up a bit and have it where I stop by at the cool shops and places, and then we'll get to my car later on, because right now we got invited to Black Cloud Battalion. I've been friends with them for many years, and it's a group of really talented people, from like automotive fashion to graffiti to even, you know, like b-boy dancing and stuff like that, engineering parts, but as well as making some of the coolest like vintage cars. So it's just so weird seeing this in person and not on Instagram.
Yeah, like, well, that's the thing, is like, you know, it's cool like on Instagram, you know, you see stuff and like that's cool, but it's never the same as like seeing things in person, right?
Yeah. Because I remember his Z from years
oh,
ago, like old Stance Nation posts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Same with yours. But
yeah, it's funny how like time flies too. You know, it's like like you see something like that, and then all of a sudden you turn around and you're like, oh, that was 10 years ago that I saw that car. You know.
Dude, so I'm guessing Totem did all the.
Yep. He does all the art. Yeah, you see on the wall for sure. So, which is nice.
So
like,
sick.
You know, we just let him do whatever the hell he wants. You know, like we don't. You know, he's like, he gets an idea, we're like, awesome, do it. You know.
Yeah, I'd let him do whatever he wants to, because this is crazy. Crazy seeing like the blend of Japanese and American muscle cars. They like everything in here kind of blends in. You kind of.
Well, it's like
nothing pops up, like they all flow together.
Yeah, looks like they're meant to be. And obviously, you know, it's because we do kind of like some Japanese styling on the American cars, or vice versa, you know. And then like some of the things are just natural, like the liftback Celica, that looks like a fastback Mustang.
Yeah,
they obviously copy elements of the fastback Mustang to make that.
Yeah.
You know, so I think our, you know, the natural like blend there, it already started with that, you know, and then we started stuff from there. Obviously the 510 kind of stands out a little bit from the other ones, I'll say that.
Yeah, the 510 does, but this is what I keep staring at right now, because like the work equipped, I don't think I've ever thought of seeing work equips on like a classic American car.
Right, yeah, I mean,
but it looks so proper on this. This is a Firebird, right?
So, no, it's a GTO.
This is a GTO?
Yeah, so like this was Nicole's baby, and I remember like one time she went out of town and like I needed to drive it for some reason or whatever. I remember it's like everywhere I go is like, and I've been driving the Z for a while that time, but I was like, I didn't get the same looks I got when I was in this car as I did in the Z. Like there was a certain level of like respect that just, like, came with this car that I was like, this feels different, you know, like people see the Z, they're like, oh, that's cool, what is that?
Yeah.
When they see this, they're like, yes, America.
Well, yeah, they know it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like iconic, so.
Where do you guys cap at, like as far as years go? Like, because I see nothing but old cars here. Like,
we don't have any sort of official cap. It's just whatever we like. But generally speaking, I would say we have very few 80s stuff. Yeah. And basically nothing beyond.
Nothing beyond that. Yeah.
No, nothing really like that. So yeah, I mean, so again, it's not like there's like a rule against it or anything like that. It's just that's kind of where our hearts lie. Yeah.
Nah, I dig it.
Yeah, I think that 86 is basically the newest car that we have.
Isn't that funny to hear that though?
right.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we all got our dailies and stuff, you know, those are newer, but we just, but it was cool, like the other, actually, like just a week ago or so, Totem was doing a hood mural for a guy with the R34, and so we had that in here, and it was really cool to see like a newer car in here, with these other ones, like it felt right, like it fit in, you know, like it didn't feel like out of place.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, the only thing is like, I mean, like I have no problem with, you know, people who are into the nice stuff or anything like that. It's great. But the only thing I don't like is like, I get guys coming up to me sometimes and they're like, I love your car, man. Like, oh, I wish I could get one. I'm like, you can. What are you talking about? Like,
they're not that expensive.
That's what I'm
like
saying,
the 90s cars are expensive.
dude, I've had people tell me about that about like my Cressida. I'm like, you can get these things for a few $1,000s all day. You know, like, so, and then or then they say things like they're scared to like get them because they're like, oh, I don't know how to work on an old car. I'm like, it's way easier to work on the older cars than the newer stuff. Like, there's no computers anywhere. Like, everything is simple. Like, people used to fix these things on the side of the road, you know, like, but so that's the only thing like I don't like hearing is like when people are basically like too scared or they think everything costs crazy money. Yeah. And it's like, no, this is all going to be cheaper than the Chaser that you want or whatever, you know, and easier to work on. So it's like you know. Yeah. But hey, obviously this is like a little bit dirtier, but you know, this is where we actually do work. So yeah, so we're going out in the middle, swapping this engine out. So that's kind of what's on over here. Obviously my Cressida, that's Total Supra, my Mustang, my Z.
There's a Z.
Yes, sir. And then put on gin.
Whoa.
So again, like you said, like the mixing of the American and Japanese, right? So so the classic American Grand National with something you'd be more familiar with from the Japanese side. And then, you know, mine has a you know, an American engine and a Japanese car. So we like intentionally are trying to like blend those two styles together.
So cool.
Yeah, and then of course Total does all the hood and rail stuff. So and I know you've like seen my Z before. So like the hood and rails, we basically always do like our tattoos and stuff like that, you know, on our hoods.
Gotcha. I don't think I've ever seen it in person. Your engine bay.
Really? I was like, you didn't see it in what do you call it? At Riverside a couple years back?
I don't remember.
You probably were too busy dealing with your booth or something like that, because it was there.
Probably, yeah.
Oh yeah, we were really busy.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're not kidding about being able to stand in your engine bay.
Yeah, no. That's funny, because like, you know, people think, oh, small Japanese car, how are you gonna fit, you know, can you fit a V8 in there? It's like, look how much room there is in there, you know, it's ridiculous. Like, whereas, you know, like I said, modern cars, you can't fit your fist in that thing without like hitting something. So.
Man, it's so simple and clean. Like.
Yeah, I mean that's what I love about like I said about the old schools is like it's like there's no extra stuff. Like it's just straightforward. Like get the job done.
You got your distributor and you got like.
Yeah, I mean there's no heat, no AC.
Yeah, there's
nothing.
That's
you know?
it.
It's just like engine.
Battery,
brakes,
alternator,
done.
and that's crazy, man. Oh my god, dude. What the fuck?
This is the speakeasy.
No way.
Yeah, so we originally built this room because we were kind of starting a podcast, hence the little sign up there or whatever.
Dang.
The reality is like we're not trying to really do a podcast, but it's more like we kept having people come through, and we kept having we're like man, like we should like record these conversations. We're having these conversations, like we should just record it or whatever. And so we kind of built this room, and then we basically filled it with this is all like kind of personal nostalgia type stuff, you know. So like everything you see is like has some history with us of some form. So like Total used to be a fighter, so like this is his when he went and fought in Japan in 1998. You know, he's got like his like old stuff like there. That's his wife when she was a kid.
Wow.
Yeah, a bunch of stuff. There's gonna be a bunch of us like dancing and things like that. Former crewmate up there who's now deceased. Just all sorts of little things here and there from our childhoods or our past together, things like that.
Dude, this is so cool.
Yeah, so we just wanted to have a little hideaway kind of spot like that.
So cool, man. It's very inspiring.
Yeah, well, I mean, as you know, like, you know, when you have a place, it's like, you know, you want to make it your own. You want to like set the vibe right for what you're trying to do in there. You know? And so, like I said, we kept having like, you know, interesting people coming through, and we're like, man, we should have just a little chill spot that we can go and just talk and things like that. And so, found one in Mississippi. So I was driving to Mississippi. I was, you know, maybe 4 hours into the trip, went through Alabama, and I literally saw one of these on the side of the road in Alabama.
Oh my god.
And I stopped and I went and looked at it. I'm like, this thing is really clean. I'm like, all right, but you know, I came to go see this one in Mississippi. So I drove the rest of the way to Mississippi. I got to Mississippi, got out of the car. I looked at the other guy's car for like 2 minutes, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to see you later, man. Thanks though. You know, and I walked back. I drove back and I bought this one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude.
So I was like, it was like meant to be, you know.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's, you know, it's like, how am I gonna get rid of this car now after like the you know,
Right.
just like the fate that brought me to it, you know. It's like you can't spit in the face of fate, you know.
So sick.
Yeah. So now I love this thing.
I appreciate so much the hospitality that Black Cloud Battalion has shown me. Scott, he's just like been someone I've looked up to for a very long time. So if he's seeing this, I wish I would have said that in person. I forgot, I was just super tired, but I appreciate you a lot, Scott. So as you guys can tell, we are home, so it's time to show the Cedric. 20 hours later of driving all the way from Fort Lauderdale to here up by northern Indiana. It's made it in one piece, 0 issues, like none at all. Besides, it rides super bumpy, but I'm gonna look into that. I'm gonna check the preload and everything. I just can't believe this car is here. I've been wanting this car for a while. My friends actually imported it and I at the time bought the TSX sedan not knowing he was bringing this car in. I've always wanted a Cedric and missed out. The car sold. The guy who bought it put it up for sale months ago, and we've been talking like the whole time, and this has been in the making for like almost 3 months. It's crazy to think about that it's here. This is my 1997 Nissan Cedric. Brougham front end, VIP, which is like the most like baller option out one you can get. I know some people don't like this front end. I personally love it over that Bentley front end with the 2 circles. I like that front end too, but this is more my style. This reminds me of like my C33 Laurel and my C35 Laurel. It's actually a blend of like a lot of stuff that I'll get into, but it's such a cool color too. You guys can see it's a very metallic-y, brownish, purple, black. It's really clean and in good condition. So this has a VQ30DT best part, which I think that, of course, the car is locked. It is manual swapped with a CD009, like full 350Z CD009, like manual swap. I threw my Vertex in to get it here from the C35, but this will go back in the C35. I gotta find a new steering wheel for it. I'm gonna change the shift knob, and I also did pick up some aero for it, so that'll be future stuff. I gotta pull it out of the car. This thing is so much fun. And it's it just sounds insane too. But we'll dive into the car more. What I've been itching to do is to throw my Exos from the C35 onto this car, because obviously the C35 isn't running. It's just the Exos are just sitting, so I'm gonna throw the Exos on this. In the meantime, I do have a set of wheels that I plan on picking up for this car that I'm gonna rebuild, and then I'll be able to throw the Exos back on the C35. Don't worry guys, I plan on hopping back onto the C35. I am pretty much fully healed and ready to start working on this again. I will be getting the clearance from my surgeon here in a few days, and I'm excited just for like everything. But let's play with some suspension and throwing on the wheels. Okay, so it's getting dark, but the car looks so good on the axles. Unfortunately, the front is maxed out as far as how low it goes. It's not where I'd like it to be. So the rear is a little bit lower, but it could go way lower. Eventually I'll end up getting new coilovers and have this thing setting properly how I want it to. Let's talk about why this car in particular. So for many of those that don't know, I actually started off with VQs. Like one of my main first cars that I started actually working on and learning on was a G35. It was a long time ago, 13-14 years. I'm kind of dating myself here. Maybe not that long. No, maybe it is that long, but this has a VQ30 DET turbo from the factory. So the VQ30DE came in the 2000 and 2001 Maxima. So I could get a lot of parts for that, and VQ35DE parts also fit on this. So and this doesn't sound like a trumpet either. This actually sounds super good. So very easy engine to get parts for, maintain, pretty reliable engine. I mean, the VQs, they're pretty stout. I don't think these have the gallery gasket issues that the VQ35s have, but it's just so cool that this is turbo from the factory. So this comes with that Brougham VIP trim, so the VQ30 DT, and I believe the Ultra Gran Turismo or whatever, the one with the Bentley front end. That's just how I know how to describe the typical front end of the Y33 Cedric and Gloria. Second off, as I explained, the CD009. It's again parts I could get for here. Every single arm and everything suspension wise has been done to this car, and most of it is S14. So a lot of S14 parts which are on my C35 I could use on this, and again, easy to get parts for. Another reason, Z32 brake swap already done, which I just did on my C35 all the way around. Easy to get parts for. Again, it does have an aim gain rear bumper and aim gain side skirts. When I get that front lip painted and installed for the front, might rock the aim gain, rest of the aim gain, even though I have side skirts for this. But we'll see how the front lip looks and how it all flows together. The TSX sedan was cool to experience, but honestly, it did its job for what I got it for. This is just more like me. This is more my style. I just love big four-door sedans, rear-wheel drive, turbo, manual, and this fits like my with the C35 and the C33. I could have gotten a C34. Honestly, man, like C34 is hard for me to like. I think that this car just looks better in my opinion. This car is like a combination of just like my roots with the VQ and where I'm at now with the C33 and C35. Like it's those cars all put together for me, making a full circle to like this, and I am super excited on this car. I have huge plans for it, and I don't think this car is gonna go anywhere. Like it made the trip 20 hours up from Miami, Fort Lauderdale to here, and I've had no issues. This thing's sick. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are interested, I do post a lot more on my Instagram. You can just follow me on there. At the end of the day, all I want is to kind of just like showcase and inspire like all of you guys. So thank you guys so much. Comment, like, and subscribe. See you guys next time.